Good morning. It is 10:14 a.m. on Saturday, November 13th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm feeling a little bit frustrated with myself, a little bit annoyed with myself last night we had our watching 100 movies session last night, and we talked about Remember the Titans and A League of Their Own. And it was good conversation and all that, but I realized only halfway through that the Twitch stream, the audio was only, playing my voice and not Mike's voice. And this was because in my little workflow that I've got set up, I missed a step which produces that outcome where I can hear him, but his voice doesn't go out onto the stream. Now, fortunately, it's a weird little combination of things that I'm doing with the audio devices and all that. So the audio recording that I have that will go for the podcast does have his voice. So that part there's no problem there. But it just means that the video version is only me talking and none of his talking for the whole first half of the podcast. And I don't know. I mean, it's an easy enough mistake to make, and I'm annoyed, but it doesn't help to have a live Twitch stream where there's so few people watching live that nobody points that out until halfway through. I mean, and I don't want to turn this into like a pity party about no one watching my Twitch streams, but it does, I do, like, I enjoy all of the stuff that I do on the Twitch streams, but it's true that we're not doing it for a large number of people. And I 100%, I don't want this to be dismissive at all of the wonderful people that I know that do watch them regularly, and several of whom I have gotten closer to as friends. But it does occur to me occasionally that a lot of the projects I do are really kind of fun for me primarily, and are not really achieving any kind of like, if my goal was to have a popular podcast or a successful Twitch stream, I'm not making a lot of headway on those with my current projects. And I can understand why that is. Like, even myself, I don't listen to a lot of unedited actual plays, which is a lot of what I'm putting out these days. And I also recognize that it's like the projects that I'm choosing to produce right now are things that are not necessarily going to have a huge market. And I'm also not necessarily putting the effort into trying to promote them as I could. But it just kind of leaves me a little bit muddled of like, is it worth trying to put the more effort out? Or do I maybe not care that much that very few people are watching because it's mostly about being fun for me anyway? I mean, certainly when I started So Many Levels, the goal was not to have a successful actual play podcast necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't have been upset if that happened, but like the goal was that I wanted to play D&D with my friends, and we were doing it online. And because I knew about streaming and podcasting, I knew that it wouldn't actually take that much more effort from what we were doing just playing to make it a podcast stream. And we've done stuff in the past, like, over the years, like I didn't do it this year, but doing the Extra Life podcast, we've raised some money and all of that. I guess I don't want this video to just seem like it's a pity party. It's less about that. It's not about me feeling bad that nobody's watching them. Because, first of all, it's not quite true. It's not a large number of people, but I want to make it clear that it's like, it's not feeling like that it's automatically not worth doing just because there's only a small number of people watching, because first of all, that's disrespectful to the people who do watch them. Like these videos, like none of these daily videos are getting tons and tons of views, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate the people who do watch it. I just, I wonder sometimes because, back in the early days of podcasting, it was perhaps a bit easier to stand out at that time, but I was also doing different kinds of projects at that time, right? Like I had some podcasts that were just talking about stuff, and one of them was called Talking About Stuff. But the ones that I achieved some more like attention for were the carefully curated and produced things like the podcast version of my first novel, Nina Kimberly the Merciless, Space Casey, which was, voice acted and edited and all of that, and produced and all of that. And so I wonder sometimes if by doing all of these live stream things where it's like unedited and everything, like they're fun for me to do, and all things considered, they're easy in the sense that the effort required is enjoyable and not tedious. Whereas some of the things like Space Casey involves a lot of tedious work along with the fun stuff. But I don't know, it just makes me wonder if I should refocus my efforts. This is not the first time I've had this thought, but I haven't done anything about it yet. Anyway, still thinking about that, I guess. In the meantime, I guess I will, leave it here. I think I'm not going to, like, release the video version of the Watching 100 movie because the audio is just no good for half of it. Like, eh. But I will put out the audio version for anyone who's interested in that. So, in the meantime, I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.